Hello YouTube, this Bright Guy Builds for another episode. This episode I'm really going to just talk about what I got going on. As you can see in the back of the truck, I have a Pioneer ductless mini split air conditioner system. It's 24,000 BTU system. This AC unit I have on my mobile home's 15 years old, and we had a couple really hot weeks and it started acting up. I had to replace the capacitor, and then the cooling fan for the capacitor was acting up, and I could have easily had spent money on throwing parts at this thing and getting a lot more years out of it, but with the mobile home, I'm concerned of how many BTUs am I losing through the ductwork. That's why I decided to go with the mini split. Right there where I'm the middle of the mobile home, there used to be a couple of windows I took out, and so it's really easy to install the mini split. I can take one of those sections of sheet metal off and easily access that interior wall to make an easy install. I have a wood stove, and it does pretty good heating the house. I've got a couple little Amish floor heaters that I use to go with it, but I have found that even though the wood stove and this mini split's going to be in the middle of the house, the air will make its way to the ends, and it's usually about 4 or 5 degrees different on those edges of the house, and I can live with that. Adding the extra ducts and fixtures adds quite a bit of money to it. Also, constantly cutting firewood. I go through about 3 trees of wood a winter. This particular tree here, late spring, early summer, it had been raining a bunch and the ground got saturated, and I came home and this thing was leaning towards the house. So I took my winch down, lower area down there, and attached it to the tree and come over and hooked a snatch block down there to a tree, and literally the winch just pulled the thing right over. You can see very little root system supporting that tree. And it'd been laying on the ground, and I finally got around to slicing it up here today. So I've got that mini split I've got to install. I've got firewood I'm working, and the next thing I'm going to be doing on the truck is I'm going to be removing the back seat and building some kind of shelf system so I can have both an upper and lower storage area. So when I do start doing my overlanding, I can either put a refrigerator freezer. I was thinking about getting a smaller, like 20 liter, to use as a freezer to leave in the truck. And then the camper, I was going to go ahead and put, like I say, a 45 liter cooler for my refrigerated foods. Another thing I'm going to be working on, I didn't get a tow package with this truck. It's just set up for the ball mount, but they've got a little piece of, you can see it kind of right here, of steel that's attached to the frame that's helping to support the bumper. It's a steel bumper, but I really don't foresee it being able to take much abuse. So I'm debating on whether or not just to put a receiver hitch in there, which really bolts to the same locations, but I'd kind of like to put in some tubing down there that I could extend up towards the wheel to protect that lower fender area. So I really haven't decided what I'm going to do there. Obviously the easy thing would just be to buy a 2-inch receiver tow hitch to put onto there, but I would lose a little bit of departure angle, and I really would like to get some protection for that lower area down there. As far as the off-road camper goes, it's coming along pretty good. I've got the next step is a big step. Finally got the perches welded onto my axle tube, and kind of mocked up where I think I'm going to be positioning the axle. I'm not going to be doing a whole lot of hardcore trails on this thing, so I was contemplating making it shorter so that I could go on more difficult trails, and I kind of decided that to go on those more difficult trails, I'd need to spend more money on both the truck and a smaller trailer. And I like my creature comforts. I do not like sleeping in a tent. So that's kind of where I'm thinking the wheels are going to be located. Now, I haven't decided if I'm going to put some kind of articulating hitch on the front. But so I picked up some 2x3 1/8 inch 11 gauge steel that I'm going to use to beefing up the perimeter of the frame. And I think I'm also going to use it to frame up and convert the box into somewhat of a V-nose to help with the aerodynamics. So that's my next step with the trailer, is to go ahead and get these pieces custom cut and get those welded in, and get these support beams separated at the distance. Right now they're loose, you know, they can move around. So I'll decide kind of where I'm going to put those, and probably that'll be determined by 4-foot lengths as far as for my plywood deck. I'm planning on mounting my spare wheel above the axle, so I'll add some supports between these two cross beams to support that spare wheel. And then once I get this, probably on the back, I'm going to put some type of a box in the back for whether I want to carry firewood or maybe a generator or something like that. The water tank is going to be up in the front. So I'm going to add some extra supports to make sure I've got plenty of support for supporting the weight of that 25 to 40 gallon tank. They're not going to be any gray or black water tanks. So I'm going to use a porta potty. I'm going to have a wet bath because I want my shower. I didn't want an outdoor shower, and so it's easy enough to put some FRP up and just making out a little wet bath and a place for the porta potty to go. And I might even put a curtain rod in there so I could hang some hanging clothes in there too. It's not like I'm going to be showering every day. So that's kind of where we are on the trailer build. I'm looking forward to getting this metal put on and kind of buttoning things up so I can get ready to go ahead and treat all this surface rust and get the frame painted up, and then I can move on to decking. That's kind of where we're at there. So, got that mini split to install. I've got that back seat area that I need to build some shelving for, and think about what I'm going to do about that rear bumper, whether I'm going to weld a piece of tubing to that existing steel support down there for the 3,500 pound ball and bumper support. So I'm going to kind of decide at that point what I'm going to do. So far the truck's great. Really haven't put that many miles on it. I have a lot of vehicles, so it's not like I need to be driving it. I've only gone through the first half a tank of fuel, so I've got about 250 miles on the truck. I really like it. It drives awesome. Plenty of power. I'm very confident by the time I move up into the bigger tires that it won't have a problem. Won't really need to re-gear. I'm not going that big. Probably going to go with a 255/80/17. There's a 16-inch wheels there. I'm probably going to get another set of 17-inch steelies to mount those 255/80/17s. And that comes out to be about a 33-inch tire. And I'm kind of leaning towards Bilstein 6112s in the front and the 5160s in the back. That's kind of how I'm leaning. And minimal lift. I'm going to need to take those crash bars out, and pretty much just going to put just enough lift so I don't have any rubbing. So hopefully that won't be 2.5. Hopefully I'll be able to keep that lift down to 1.5, 2 inches of lift. Don't really want to have to get a ladder to get into the truck. So that's kind of where we are right now. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Next videos, like I say, I'm looking forward to getting this trailer through through this process of getting the frame finished so I can move on to the floor. And I've got a buddy that scraps RV trailers, and I'm going to go by his place and see if I can't salvage some windows and compartment doors to go along with for this trailer. Alrighty guys, have a good day, and thanks for watching.